which method of sale do you use when you sell your home? Another interesting question and a difficult one for many owners. Private treaty is where you have a publicly set asking price, and auction is where you don't. You have a guide, but the guide isn't necessarily the amount of money the owner will take. In terms of the benefits of both, the benefit of an auction is there is a possibility that people may pay more than even you or the agent had considered due to a desirability of the home. The positive of a private treaty sale is it gives a bit more clarity to the buyer, which could lead to maybe a little bit more inquiry along the line of that price. So they both have merit in various circumstances. So the benefits of an auction over a private treaty or vice versa. The one thing about an auction to go to market with a property and be successful is there's two key factors. Number one, the owner's got to buy into that process. That sounds silly, but if some owners are reticent or unsure or nervous about it, you really need to get that sorted before you go to market, because there will be bumps in the road in the auction process. The second thing is it's got to be a property that you have a reasonable degree of confidence that there'll be a competitive interest in. If you don't feel that you're going to get at least 2 or 3 parties interested at a price point to compete for the property, you're much better off putting it for private treaty in the first place. So those two key factors have to be in play for auction. The owner's got to be a partner with you, the agent, in the process, and the property's got to have something about it that draws the attention of more than that one individual buyer. So auction, scary word for many owners. The two biggest furphies around auction that don't apply: one, you pay a lot more advertising. That's not true. The auctioneer's fee is the only thing different between a private treaty campaign and an auction campaign, depending on what services you want. That's generally a very nominal fee. Could be as low as $350, could be as high as $650. And then the second fear factor is, if I don't sell the property on the day, it's social suicide, I've failed, I'm a loser, I will never sell my property ever again, and it's a disaster. No, it's not true. You get to keep your property. You get to market it after. Sometimes a buyer isn't ready. Sometimes the best buyer comes immediately after the auction. It's not a failure if you ever eventually sell the property. This is the biggest trauma that owners face before they make that decision of auction. They don't want to be standing there on the day of the property being auctioned and have it not sell. It's a very, very big trauma, but we can help you overcome that fear, because in many instances it doesn't happen. And when it does happen, there is a strategy afterwards to still get a very good price for the property. So why does an auction fail? In many instances, it's the agent. The agent's got to have a strategy. The agent's got to have a game plan, and they've got to be adaptable, because many times the auction, as I've said, doesn't go according to the script, and they have to be able to adapt to that and get the strategy right. Auctioneer is a huge component of that. They are a hired gun. They come in on the day. They really only spend an hour on the entire process, but they are pretty much that person that comes into the maternity ward when the baby's being delivered. They are the experts. They are the ones that are going to sense with the agent where the money may or not be and help deliver that extra 10, 20, 50, in many cases hundreds of thousands of dollars, by getting the bidding environment to be competitive and desirable. So that's a really key component to how the auctions can be successful. So, key question for auctions: on-site, in rooms. Very biased person, I've always done on-site auctions. Why? Because there's 3 components to a sale. There's the buyer, there's the seller, and there's the agent. And to be brutally frank, the person that benefits most from in rooms is the agent. Who's selling the property? The agent. Who are they doing it for? The owner. Who's benefiting the most from on-site? The owner. Economies of scale: 8 auctions in a room on a weeknight, we get rid of 8 properties, we sell for 8 vendors. 8 auctions on a Saturday, big preparation, big effort, a lot more labor intensive. Is it better for the owner? Absolutely better to do it on site. Why wouldn't the property be auctioned on site if we can't get a crowd there, if it isn't desirable? The only exception to that would be a part of Sydney or areas of Sydney where on site is very difficult. Highly densely populated areas that have something about them that may be non-conducive to on site. But that's a very, very rare exception to the rule. In my opinion, 95% of the time that's okay, so we're auctioning on site.